Are you ready to turn heads? Luxury isn't just worn, it's experienced. Introducing a Layla Cara style and new up-and-coming designer collection where exclusive shoes and bags for men and women meets your feet. How about you take a handbag and wear it in style, where each piece is personally designed by Layla Cara herself and handcrafted from the finest material in Italy. Leather, smooth like butter, bold, timeless, distinctly you. Step into true elegance and make your mark with a Layla Cara style where confidence meets craftsmanship. Visit a Layla Cara style and experience the luxury of art that you wear.
Welcome to day 2 of week 13. Today we're going to talk about red flags and early warning signs. Recognizing the red flags and early warning signs of narcissistic behavior in potential partners is essential for protecting yourself from unhealthy relationships. Additionally, understanding the difference between healthy confidence and narcissism can help you make better choices by selecting your partner. Here's how to identify these signs and make informed decisions. First, you want to recognize early signs in narcissistic behavior. How do you recognize these signs? Well, you want to assess the needs for admiration. You want to assess that. And the way you do that is by observing. You're going to take personal note for yourself, and you're going to notice if the person that you are sitting across the table from on a date or just basically interacting with over the phone or whatever you're doing, just casually, just talking or whatever, or even if they're talking to someone else, you're going to take note and you're going to notice if the person frequently seeks excessive praise and validation. Because this behavior, what it does, they might consistently talk about their achievements, fishing for compliments, and become upset if they don't receive enough attention. So pay attention to that, okay? I just finished eating pot roast. I made the pot roast last night, and I'm telling you, it is so good. Anyways, that's why I'm sitting here doing this with my mouth, trying to get the food out of my teeth. Sorry about that. Oh, let me get something to drink. Drinking root beer, one of my favorite sodas. So let's continue. Also, you're going to observe lack of empathy. Yes, you want to observe lack of empathy. That's what you definitely want to do. Pay attention to their reactions when you or others share personal problems or emotions. Do they empathize with them? If not, then you know what you're dealing with, okay? The behavior is what you're going to observe. A narcissistic person often display little interest or understanding of others' feelings and may quickly direct the conversation back to themselves. So you sit here talking about something that happened to you, and they really don't give you that much attention on that topic. They might say a little something about it. Oh, I'm sorry that happened to you. And then they go back to talking about their own situations and what's going on with them. They didn't put any thought in trying to help you solve a problem or even to really listen to you about what you're telling them about your issue. And they might not even do it to you. They might be doing it to someone else. If they introduce you to their family members and someone in the family come up to them and be like, say, bro, let me tell you what happened to me. And then they just like, oh, okay. And then they go on and talk about themselves. Take that as a mental note. Matter of fact, you're going to go home and write it down in your journal. That way you would start recognizing the patterns if they do it again. And especially when they do it to you, then you can say, okay, well, they did this the first time I met their parents to their sister or their brother. Then they did this to this person over here. And now they did it again. And they did it to me this time. Okay, you're dealing with a person who have lack of empathy. And then grandiose sense of self-importance. You want to observe. The observation that you're looking for is for you to watch for signs that the person believes they are superior to others or entitled to special treatments. So the behavior is that they may, I was trying to get that word out. So what they might do is overly engage, or they might exaggerate their own talents. That's what I was really trying to say. They may exaggerate their own talents, accomplishments, and expect to be recognized as superior without this word here, I'm going to say it, commiserate. I had to make sure I get that word right. I know what it means, but saying and pronouncing it is one of the things that I have. I get tongue-tied when I talk. So when you get me twisting and saying all these big words, I'm just being tongue-tied. It's not that I can't say the word. I don't know what the word means. It's just I got to make sure I slow down when I talk. I told you this early in the beginning. So that's one of the effects I just showed you. So anyway, they commiserate achievements. So basically, they don't have any proof of what they accomplish. It's not really what really happened. They over exaggerate, making it seem more than what it is. It's not that special, okay? But yet they want you to look at them as they definitely are better than you and other people. And then manipulative behavior. You want to observe these things, okay? Everything I'm telling you is for you to keep your mind and your eyes and ears open on, okay? So be cautious if you notice them using manipulative tactics to get their way. This don't have to happen to you. They can be doing this to other people. I'm going to give you an example. So it was a Goodwill that my ex-husband, the narcissist, that we used to go to. And he never wanted to pay the straight price. He always trying to find a way to get a discount and even sometimes get things for free. When I started paying attention to that kind of behavior, I would be with him and I don't have a problem paying a regular price. But I noticed that even when something as cheap as what Goodwill has to offer, you still trying to get a cheaper price than that. I have a problem with that. So there were times when we would be in Goodwill and we'll find something that we like. Instead of him paying the regular price, he would make up something. Say, I'm a school teacher, because they have military discount and also teacher discount. And they were like, well, can I see your teacher ID? And he, oh man, I left it at home. And of course, the person who's working at the cashier is young, and he always goes to the youngest person. He don't ever go to someone who's older because he know they might be onto him. So I paid attention to how he worked, and he would try to manipulate the young person to give him the discount anyway. And most of the time they would give it to him, but there had been times where he didn't get it. And I remember it was the older guy. He was on to him because we came back in the same place again. And the person, this time, he goes to a young person again. So this person who was on to him told the young person, go ahead, take a break. I do this, I'll take care from here. So now I'm looking at how my ex-husband going to deal with this situation now, because he's not going to get the discount. I already knew what was going on. I saw it. And so the guy was like, okay, so he's ringing everything up. Either the color today is blue, so this is here's discount. And then he was like, what about the teacher discount? He said, can I see your ID? And he was like, well, I don't have it. I left it at home. Oh, man, I was coming here straight from.
We'll be back after a quick break.
If you haven't already, check out my luxury shoe and bag collection, a Layla Cara style. Each piece is personally designed by me and handcrafted from genuine Italian leather. Whether you're dressing up or keeping it casual, these pieces were made to help you walk with confidence. Because real style starts from how you feel. Go to alaylacarolstyle.com and experience these bold, timeless, and completely all you. Check it out. You might find something you like.
The gym, stuff like that, making up stuff. And then he said, well, I'm sorry, I can't give you the discount on the teacher discount, but I can give you the blue discount, but I cannot give you the teacher's discount. And he started getting mad. I started pissing to how my ex-husband was flaring up. And I had to tap him. I say, look, you can't win them all. Like, you really can't. And so when we was leaving out of there with the stuff, and he's like, oh, I don't like that guy. He's racist. He was a white guy, but I don't think the guy was racist. He's like, oh, he's racist. He don't like our black man and all this stuff. And I was thinking, like, seriously, dude, I have seen him watch you. You wasn't paying attention, but I was, because I was uncomfortable. And I'm looking around seeing who's looking. So he finally came up and said something and finally stopped you for what you was doing. You basically was stealing. And so in that case, you have to pay attention to their manipulation tactics to others. When you see that, you'll be able to see how they're manipulating you. Remember, a narcissist don't stop just at you. They do this with everybody they encounter. Except for people who don't let them, all right? A person who just not own it, they can't get it, then they get mad about it because they wasn't able to manipulate them. But I'm letting you know, pay attention. So what you want to do, the behavior that they display is that this can include guilt tripping, basically they're making you feel bad, or playing a victim, or using charm and flattery to influence others. So what did my ex-husband use in that one? He used more of a guilt trip. He tried to be like, oh, the guy's racist. No, he's not. That was one of his. So you also want to observe gaslighting. The observation on gaslighting is for you to look for incidents where the person denies or distorts reality to make you question your own perspective, your own perception, I meant to say. That make you question your own perception. You know it's real, you know it happened, but yet they're trying to make you believe that it didn't happen. The behavior that they would display is that they might deny events that you remember clearly, shift the blame, or insist on your memory is faulty. That didn't happen. You remember it all wrong, that kind of stuff. So definitely remember what you know and stick with it. Also, you want to be on the lookout for lack of accountability. I know people who are this way, and I always bring things back to my mother because I'm actually dealing with this situation with her in the present tense. So that's why I can relate to what I'm talking about with this. And plus, when you're dealing with parents, it's difficult. And I probably would teach this I don't even know if I want to even teach a class on this, but if you want to discuss it in a coaching session, then we can talk about it in that. Anyway, so you want to notice if they refuse to take responsibility for their actions and often blame others for their problems. So the behavior that they display is that they make excuses, they rationalize their own behaviors, and they also claim that they are misunderstood. Really? I don't understand. Come on now. So, to elaborate on that about my mother, she had this thing with not wanting to be alone. And she invites people to come live with her, even strangers. My mother has taken it so far to invite a homeless man to live with her. Homeless. She saw him as she was going into the store, and she asked him in these words, "Do you want to come home with me?" That's exactly what she said. She didn't tell this only to me. She said it to her sisters too. We all thought she was crazy. But at the same time, I understood why she did it. She did it out of desperation and fear. She was afraid to be alone. Now, you might say to yourself, why don't you let your mother live with you? I'm going to tell you right now, if my mother lived with me, I would be divorced because she would ruin my marriage. And I say that because of how she acted before I got married. She didn't get her way. She started tearing up our house and calling me all kinds of bloody bees and bloody mother FMFs and all that stuff. I can't let her live with me with that kind of behavior. And she also drinks. She have a drinking problem. So that intensifies it. I can't do that. So I know she can't live with me. But there's times when she get to a place where things are not working out with the people that live with her. And she wants them to go. My mother's not the type that give you the opportunity to make things right. No. You do something wrong, she don't like it, immediately she's going to retaliate. And I was like, this is not healthy. But the thing is that she decides to kick certain people out when they're not doing right. I mean, literally put them out. Gotta go now. And I'm going to take your stuff and do what I want with it. That kind of stuff. If you don't take it with you when you go. Well, she had this one person who started threatening her because when he got evicted, I had to step in on this one because this person was actually living on my property, not in her house. He was living on my property. And I had to step in. I said, you know what? He can't live on the land. Now, you want him to stay? He can stay in your house, but he can't live on the land. And so he was camping out on my land. Nope, baby, can't do it. Because the reason why I had a problem with it was that he didn't have a place to put his trash. So trash was all in the yard. And then he kept bringing all these dogs. And then, I mean, a lot of dogs. He had about maybe when he first started, it was 2 dogs. Then one went away. He got another dog. And then he ended up getting 2 more dogs. And then one of the dogs he had was malnutrition to the point where I was getting sick of it. Because if you're going to have an animal, you need to raise this animal and take care of this animal and do right by this animal. And this dog, it was so cute, little dog. And I was so hurt to see this dog like this. And I said, oh, no, I'm putting a stop to this. So, make a long story short, I went on and stepped in. This is when I stepped in. I decided, hey, I'm going to give him a lease agreement. He's going to have to sign and he's going to pay rent. And not only that, if he don't do this, he got to go. Well, of course, he's another narcissist. I figured that out the first conversation I had with him, that he was a narcissist, and I knew he wasn't going to want to go by the lease, and that was my easy way to get him out of there. So since he didn't want to go by the lease, I ended up evicting him. I went to the court, to the justice of the peace, and I filed for eviction for him to get off my land. The constable came by, no, the sheriff, it was the sheriff department, came by and served him papers. Well, he ended up leaving. He was living in a camper. So he ended up taking his camper, but he didn't take the rest of his stuff. So make a long story short, when he went to, I guess, want to come back for his stuff, he was given 30 days to get his stuff. It's 3 months later. he decides to come back and try to get his stuff. Well, you abandon your stuff at 3 months. We got the right to do what we want with it at that time. Even by the law, they told me I could do what I want with his stuff if he don't come in the next 30 days to get his things. So he threatening my mother. He started threatening her. She took it so far to where she started pointing the finger at me. It's my fault. And you don't come by here enough, and you don't come visit me enough. I'm like, Mama, you live in San Antonio, I live in Houston. I drive up and down that highway constantly for you. And I'm at a point where I'm tired. I don't get enough time to do my own thing based on me coming back and forth for you. I have already invited you to come to Houston whenever you feel the need that you want to get out of your house. Now, she can come over here, and she can spend a week or two, but when we get to the 3-week mark, it's time to go home for a little while, give us a break. But my aunt, she got 2 sisters that lives in Houston, they told her, well, this one particular one says, you can come and move in with me. I got 2-bedroom apartment, you can come move in with me. My mother's like, why would I want to give up a house that's paid for to go and live in an apartment and help you pay rent? Oh, Lord, I'm telling you, I'm giving you this example because you get to understand what I'm talking about. And so her manipulation and don't want to take accountability for her own actions. The reason why this happened in the first place, because you invited these people to come and stay in this house and want to stay on my land, and you did not screen them to find out who you was dealing with. You didn't do no background check on these people. You don't even know their birthday. Like, come on. You barely know their first and last name. And this is what's going on. You mad at me because I'm seeing the bad habit that you have developed and that I'm sick of every time I turn around, you got a problem. And prior to this guy threatening her, she had already had a situation where one of her tenants tried to burn her house down. Literally, he went and got a gas can that was outside on the ground, which belonged to my mother for her to gas up her lawnmower to cut the yard. It still had a little bit of gas in there, and he brought it in the house, poured it on the kitchen floor, took a lighter and threw it on it, and it went up in flames. I'm telling you, these are the crazy cuckoo people she have living with her, and then she gets mad at me because I have something to say about it and I don't like it. And I'm like, when are you going to learn to take accountability for this? Because this is going to end badly. And stop blaming me because I don't want to let you move in with me. I let you move in with me, I might as well be going to sign divorce papers because you're going to ruin my marriage. I have to make a choice. It's going to be my life with my husband and our son, or me saying, forget the marriage, forget my life, and then bring you into the, well, not in this home, because this home, actually, my husband bought this home, but go and move back home with you, which would never in God green earth would ever happen, because I know I can't live with her, and you will understand why if you read this book here, the black one, that Breaking the Spell, the ultimate escape plan from narcissistic entanglements. You read that book, you don't know exactly the reason why I say I can't live with her. I will never live with her again, because I talk about the situation that I had to deal with growing up with her. But the fact is that when I had to go through all these things with this lady, I know I can't continue to repeat it because she don't own up to anything that she does wrong. It's always a justification. Always that she's misunderstood. She's always making excuses. She rationalized her behavior, and I can't deal with it anymore. It's just what it is. So definitely what you also want to do is pay attention to the intense charm followed by the evaluation. So observe and make sure that you be aware if they start with overwhelming you with charm and attention, but gradually begin to criticize and devour you. Because if they start doing that, they have went from love bombing to devaluation on you. That is a clear sign that they are narcissists. So some of the behavior This behavior can include idealizing you in the beginning, then finding fault in you. And what they do is that they use this to demean your confidence. This is how they get you from being up on the pedestal and knocking you down, making you feel lack of confidence, all right? You also want to be careful with the isolation tactic. So when you notice, if you take any notice that they try to isolate you from your friends and family members or any type of support network that you have, you got to cut them off, because now that you're entering into dangerous territory. Because when you don't have anyone on your side to help you fight, you are alone and you're vulnerable. You're like a sheep without a shepherd, okay? So the behavior that they display is that they may suddenly or overly discourage you from spending time with others, making you feel more dependent on them. You don't want to depend on the person that you're in a relationship with. You don't want to depend on them. I do not depend on my husband. No. Something happened to him today or tomorrow, I will be all right. I know that for a fact because I've known myself to live by myself and pay my own bills and take care of myself. And plus, I have a job that makes well enough money to be able to do those things, plus my business that I started. So I'm letting you know, do not become dependent. I also have my own transportation and he has his. I don't drive around in his vehicle. He don't drive around in mine. But if we ever come to a situation where we're going somewhere together, well, if we're going in my vehicle, I drive. He don't really drive my car. Every once in a while, I might let him drive my car, but he don't really want to. And then, of course, vice versa. We go on places together in his vehicle. He always drives. And every once in a while, he might ask me to drive. And I say he might ask me to drive because I don't really like driving people. I really don't. That's why I wouldn't be a good Uber driver, because I don't like driving people. I do it, but I don't like it. The only person I enjoy driving around is my son, and that's because he can't drive yet. But wait until he's able to drive. He's going to be driving me everywhere. I'm just saying. I don't like driving. That's what it is. I really don't. I mean, I use it as therapy, but I don't care for it. But anyway, so, when I become rich, I might have a chauffeur. I might have a driver. I think I probably will. Anyway, so let's talk about understanding healthy confidence versus narcissism, because you need to understand the difference. They might seem so similar to each other, but they're not. And I'm going to tell you how to distinguish the different traits from each other, okay? So first, we're going to talk about the healthy confidence. What does that look like, okay? Well, first, let's talk about self-assuredness. The traits, and this is all about healthy confidence. After that, we'll talk about the narcissism. Whenever you're dealing with a person who has a healthy confidence level, but they're not a narcissist, this is what you should be able to notice in them. A confident person is sure of their abilities and self-worth without needing constant validation from others. They already know, but they don't need to be validated. Like me, I'm sure of things that I can do. I don't go around asking people what they think about it, how they feel about it. I don't need your validation. That's why I don't really ask for a lot of reviews. I do ask for reviews so you can help other people who wants to know more about, does this really work? Is this good? Should I buy into this? Let me read what people say about this. Okay, well, that's what the review's for me. But I don't really need you to really review unless you give me the feedback that can help critique me. That I will use the review for that, to critique what I need to critique. I know I had one person say I was long-winded in one situation. Well, I know I need to work on that because I'm being long-winded right now. So let me keep going. Also, let's talk about the behavior. So they can acknowledge their strengths and weaknesses and are open to feedback and improvement. Empathy and respect The traits of a confident individual shows empathy and respect for other people's feelings and perception. Perspectives. I say perception. Perspective. The behavior is that they listen actively, they show genuine interest in others, and they value emotional connections. Balanced self-view. The traits they have a balanced and realistic view on themselves and do not feel the need to exaggerate their accomplishments. The behavior, they can celebrate their success while remaining humble and acknowledging the contribution of others. Accountability. Well, the traits that they have are confident people take responsibility. So confident people, they take responsibility for their actions and are willing to admit their mistakes. These behavior that they seek to learn from their experiences and are committed to personal growth. They want to learn from what goes on with them and they want to change. So they commit themselves to change. And then they secure their boundaries. So they maintain healthy boundaries and respect. And they also respect other people's boundaries. So the behavior that they display is that they can assert their own needs without being aggressive. And they respect the autonomy of those around them. Let's talk about narcissism. So what traits do these people have? This is how you can tell the difference between a confident person and a narcissism. Okay? Exaggerated self-importance. A narcissist person has an inflated sense of their own importance and expect for those around them to recognize them as superior. The behavior that they display is that they frequently boast about their accomplishments and expect admiration and special treatment. Like, what do you want me to do about that? Okay, good for you. That's what I would say. Anyway, then you have the lack of empathy. So narcissists have a limited amount of empathy. Let's go back. So narcissists have a limited ability to empathize with others and are primarily concerned with their own needs. Yes. And the behavior that they display is that they are dismissive of others' feelings and may exploit or manipulate people for their own personal gain. Needs for excessive admiration. The traits, they have an incredible amount of need for admiration and validation from others. Like, they need this. This is their energy. This is their energy source, okay? And it don't matter if it's even negative. They getting that energy, they need it, okay? And the behaviors that they constantly seek praise and attention, becoming upset or angry if they do not receive it. They have a sense of entitlement, okay? So they believe they deserve special treatment and may feel entitled to others' time, resources, and attention. So they taking all your time. You better be careful with that. They're using your resources, your money, your cars, the people that you know, your connections, or even your place, your home, whatever. Yeah, and then your attention. They need you to stay focused on them, all right? So these are the traits, all right? And then what behavior they display, they expect others to cater to their needs and may react negatively if their expectations are not met. And then manipulative and controlling behaviors. Narcissists often use manipulation and control to maintain power and influence over others. Some of the manipulation, it might not be a direct manipulation of like some type of strategy. Some of it could be emotional. A lot of it is emotional. Like they get in their feelings and they start pouting like a 2-year-old having a temper tantrum, or a 5-year-old in the grocery store throwing things off the counter and on the floor, breaking stuff, tearing things up, punching holes in walls. Those are also emotional manipulation. Also, there's some more emotional manipulation. They stop talking to you. Now they're giving you the silent treatment, or they are ghosting you. They just went silent on you, and they're not talking to you. They're messing with your emotions. You're not able to think, and you're not able to be yourself. That's emotional manipulation as well. All right, they're trying to punish you in some kind of way. So the behavior that they have is that they may use guilt, charm, and any type of intimidation to get their way and to get what they want, also to maintain control of the relationship. All right. So that's my coffee maker going off over there. I forgot to turn it off. So by recognizing the earlier signs of narcissistic behavior and understanding the difference between healthy, confident, and narcissism, you can make more informed decisions in your relationships. Trust your intuition and be mindful of how potential partners make you feel. That is so important, how they're making you feel, all right? The love bombing thing, let that phase itself out. Before you make a decision to be with someone, that love bombing phase needs to be gone, because that's what you're making a decision off of, that love bombing. Most women stay in relationship with narcissists because they are hoping and praying for the love bombing stage to come back. That is what they got you with to make you fall in love with them in the first place. So X the love bombing thing out. See them for who they really are and judge them from that perspective, not the perspective of them showing off to bring all this attention to you and make you feel like you're on top of the world. That's what they're doing for their strategy. You want to really see the true them, and you want to judge them from that character, okay? Because their character is who they are. Prioritize relationship with individuals who demonstrate empathy. If they don't do it, you don't need it, all right? Also, who demonstrate respect and accountability and a balance of a sense of self. Like they know who they are. They don't need you to validate them, even though they do appreciate it, and they show you that they appreciate it, but they're not seeking it. Like, I need you to show me that I am superior. No. You don't need that. So if you're going to be getting somebody and you're moving on to your next relationship, these 4 things you must pay attention to. They have to have it in them for you to have a healthy relationship. They demonstrate empathy. That's number 1. You might have to take some time to see if it's happening, because if events have to occur for this situation to be displayed. And it has to be a real event, something that happened for real. Like someone died in the family, and then they're showing their empathy to that person. Not no fake empathy, but they're literally empathizing with this person. They're not trying to impress somebody. They're literally empathizing, all right? They feel it, the emotions there of the other person being sad, all right? As well as someone lost their job and It's like, hey, I'm so sorry that you lost your job. Do you need me to help you in any kind of way? They offering help, all right? And they mean it. And then respect. Respect is big. Accountability. When they do something wrong, do they take accountability for what they did wrong? Are they trying to improve in that area? And then the fourth thing is a balance of sense of self, that they know who they are. So this approach will help you build a healthier and a more fulfilling connection and protection of your well-being. Right? So now we're done with day 2. Day 3, I'm going to make it shorter. I don't want it to be as long as this one. So I will see you tomorrow on day 3. Are you feeling overwhelmed and exhausted by stress? Introducing Stress Management with Imaging Coaching, your ticket to a calmer, more balanced life. In this journey you will be taking with us here at Imaging Coaching, we'll equip you with powerful techniques and tools you can use to conquer stress, control, and transform your life. From deep breathing exercises to mindfulness practices, you'll discover the tools to relax your mind and body. Come join us on this transformative path and unlock a world of inner peace and resilience. Don't let stress hold you back any longer. Take charge of your well-being today with Imaging Coaching, your stress management team. Discover clarity. Defeat stress through Imaging Coaching at imagingcoaching.com, at imagingcoaching.com, at imagingcoaching.com, at imagingcoaching.com.